What a blessing and a joy to be with you all. I can't believe these 3 days have gone by so quickly. I look forward to being back here next year. So today, in addition to being our final satsang, today is Earth Day. And we had a very beautiful tree honoring ceremony in the afternoon. But I think the day requires a bit more from us than the honoring of a tree. So I want to dedicate this evening's satsang to Mother Earth. There also was just a very tragic terrorist attack in North India and Kashmir. Seemingly unprovoked, baseless as terrorism is by nature. Attack on 24 tourists to the region who were just gunned down. And so I want to dedicate this evening's satsang to them as well. And I'd love if before we start, we could just take a moment together in silence and in prayer for them, for their loved ones, and for every drop of water and every blade of grass, for every tree, for every being on this precious earth. And just take a moment to feel them as us. Our highest and deepest spiritual teachings and practices bring us into that experience of oneness in which we realize, not just cognitively, but experientially, that there is no other. And so let us just take a moment and hold them in our hearts. Thank you. So this evening, we've been talking about freedom. And of course, the freedom that we speak about is not the freedom of self-governance. It's not the free will that we have. It's actually a freedom that arises when we extricate ourselves from that which makes us forget we are free. It's not that through these tools and techniques we actually achieve freedom. It's that we remember that we are free. Soul is free. The mind plays the games. The mind keeps us stuck. And so through the tools, the techniques, the practices, the reminders, we free ourselves of that which has created an illusion of stuckness. The I am stuck because, fill in the blankness, and has reminded us of the agency, of the autonomy that we have in these human bodies, but also has reminded us of the the truth of who we are as already free, as soul, as consciousness, as existence itself, already free from the games. And I was thinking tonight, a nice, fun thing to leave you with is a beautiful mantra that my guru gave to me when I first came to India. And it's been a mantra that at the time was given to me, you'll see, for a variety of reasons to teach me a bit about some core concepts in the Vedic tradition. But it's been a mantra that has expanded and deepened as the years have gone by, and that I've realized more and more of actually the depth of it and the guidance of it in pretty much every moment of my life. And the mantra says, engage yourself in karma under the shade of dharma with the awareness of Brahma. Very simple. It's kind of rhymey. And it's nice to teach someone who's just walked in, has no idea what karma means, dharma means, Brahma means, has no idea what anything means. But as the years and the decades have gone by, the fuller and the deeper meaning has opened itself up. And I thought, well, let's look at this as it pertains to our freedom and as it pertains to our role here. Not just as the highest, deepest, eternal truth, as not just Jivatma, but Paramatma in that union, but actually each of our roles as these human bodies with our dharma, with the ability to engage consciously in karma. So we take the first part, engage yourself in karma. Now, anybody who has studied the Bhagavad Gita, even on the most basic level, knows you can't not act. So engage yourself in karma is a bit interesting because it's not like we have an alternative. Bhagavan Krishna makes it very, very clear that you can't help but act. Oh, you're not going to fight, you're going to run away. That too is action. Acts of omission are just as much acts as acts of commission. You can plug your ears, close your eyes, sit on your hands, and you're still acting. So engage yourself in karma. It really means be conscious. Act consciously. You're acting anyway. Everything you are doing is an action. Act consciously. And as we think about the earth and as we think about the violence that erupts when we are in ignorance, one of my favorite teachings in the Bhagavad Gita is a teaching in which Bhagavan Krishna says, and I'll do it slowly, so if you can grasp any of the Sanskrit, you can follow along, otherwise I'll tell you what it means. But it says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. And it means whatever the devotee offers me, be it a leaf, a flower, a piece of fruit, a bit of water. Whatever is offered with love and devotion, I accept it with that joy and love. Now, it's a beautiful teaching around God's grace and love and bhakti, but that's not where I'm going to go. Where I want to go is the patram pushpam phalam toyam. 4 options he gave us of things people offer to the divine. A leaf, patram. Pushpam, a flower. Phalam, fruit. Toyam, water. What do you notice about all of them? They're free. They're free and they're nature. He didn't say whoever offers me gold or a mansion or a car or their jewels, whoever creates a golden image of me in the mandir that is covered with diamonds. 4 options. Every one of them is free. You don't have to be rich to offer it. Something available to everyone. And every one of them is Mother Earth. It's the leaf, it's the flower, it's the fruit, it's the water. And to me, what this means is, number 1, don't worry about accessorizing for God. We get this teaching, of course, in the Ramayana as well, in the beautiful teachings of Shurpanakha and Shaburi. Who Bhagwan Ram embraces, who he sends away. But here we get it in a very specific way. He is essentially saying to us, offer me of the natural world. Well, would you ever take water out of your toilet and offer it in your puja? I mean, could you even conceive of that? Those of you even who are not that religious, who may not have puja practices, could you conceive, even if you flush it 5 times, oh, it's clean. Could you imagine? I mean, the thought is sacrilege. The leaf, the flower, the fruit, the water, they have to be clean for us to offer them to God. If you look at the pujas that we do, one of the most beautiful aspects of the Vedic pujas is they all have the 5 elements. You'll notice there's always fire, there's water, there's an element of earth, it's a flower, it's rice, there's air, there's ether, there's incense, there's waving of the fan. Why? God's not hungry, waiting for someone to offer some rice or some ghee, not thirsty, waiting for water, not hot, waiting to be fanned. Why are we given by our sages, by our rishis, that we must offer these elements? To remind us they are sacred. You wouldn't take the water from your toilet means your water source, your river, your lake, your stream must be clean. It must not be polluted. We're going to offer it to God. Your flower, your fruit, your leaf, it must be grown in soil that is clean. It must not be toxic. You wouldn't offer something that you had just sprayed with some toxic pesticide. Here's some, Roundup for you, God. Clean, pure. You wouldn't do your puja in front of the exhaust of your car, waving the air from the exhaust pipe onto God. These are teachings that remind us, number 1, that the elements themselves are sacred. And number 2, that as we offer them to God, it is therefore our responsibility to take care of them. And so it is our spiritual, our religious duty. In the same way that we keep our temples clean, we remove our shoes. We bathe before we enter. We don't swear. There's a whole maryada, a whole way of being, of purity. It means we must take care of the earth. We also, though, when we look at yam and niyam, given to us by Patanjali. As we're engaged in studies of yoga here, I keep wanting to re-anchor us. What is the foundation of yoga? It's how we move through the world. It is engage yourself in karma. Be conscious. Don't find yourself saying things, oh my God, I don't know who that was. I don't know what came over me. That wasn't me. That's not what I meant. It means you weren't conscious. Because obviously it was you. It was just unconscious you. Be conscious, be aware, be present. It's the only way that you can possibly move through your life with nonviolence, with truthfulness, without stealing, without hoarding, with that integrity. It's the only way. So be conscious in your actions. That's freedom. Free will is not a license to decadence. Freedom doesn't mean do whatever you want. It's a quick tangent. One of the beautiful hats that I get to wear is representing India, representing Sanatan Dharma in various interfaith gatherings, United Nations, other places. And I was part of putting together a plan of action to end the hate speech that leads to atrocity crimes that end up leading to genocide with the United Nations Office of Genocide Prevention and Responsibility to Protect. And on the day that we launched this plan of action at the UN in New York, after the launch, there was an open questions and answers. And someone from the floor asked the question about freedom, freedom of speech. Well, if you people are saying, here's the speech that we must not engage in, where does our freedom come in? Are you trying, to use religion to take away our freedom? And I said, think about it for a moment. This body, I am free over it. I've been given free agency over this body. I can do whatever I want. If I want to do this with my arm all day long, I can do this with my arm all day long. Until and unless you are standing in front of me, and every time I do this, it bops you on the nose. At which point, my freedom to do this with my arm is trumped by, this was prior to him actually being there, is trumped by your right to not be bopped on the nose. Your right to not be bopped on the nose trumps my right to do whatever I want with my arm. And so when we think about freedom, it's important to realize it is not freedom in a vacuum. It is freedom from that which keeps me stuck. Not freedom to be decadent, not freedom to be violent, not freedom to exploit you. Swami Dayanandji Maharaj, the Swaminiji who's here teaching the Mandukya Upanishad is his disciple, one of the things he always used to say was, your freedom ends where my toes begin. If your freedom has led you to stand on my toes, this is violence. So engage yourself in karma, conscious action. Action that then is in alignment with, under the shade of, dharma. Because it's not just the rules. It's not just the rules given in the Gita or in Karam Kand or in the Vedas or in Patanjali's sutras. It's our own karmic fruit that we're going to be bearing. Engage in unconscious karma. You're going to bear the fruits of that. That tree is going to grow in your garden and you get to eat the fruits. So it's actually the very best thing you can do for yourself as well, even if you're purely selfish. You have no spiritual or ulterior motives in any way, altruistic motives at all. It's still the best thing you can do. because it is the way to ensure as you create your destiny. This moment, this action is the that is predetermining your destiny tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. That which is predestined for us was not written thousands and thousands of years ago, sitting on a cloud in the Akash. We're creating it. Our karma is creating our destiny. So conscious action under the shade of dharma. Now we know what that means. There's individual dharma, there's collective dharma. Be righteous, be a good person, have compassion, be honest. Again, it brings us back to yam and niyam. It brings us back to sutras. It brings us back to shastras, to scriptures. But there's also individual dharma. What's your path? And that's the freedom. Because if I don't fulfill my dharma, because there is pressure on me by family, by society, to do something different. I know when I decided to move back to India to live there, you can imagine the pressure. I was 25 in the midst of a PhD program. Everybody said, you're crazy. Get your degree, get yourself settled, make a name for yourself. Then you want to go off on, a year or two spiritual Peace Corps thing, go off and do it. Everybody thought it was just a phase. They said, but establish yourself first. It's crazy to do it now. If I had listened, I would have been in defiance of my dharma, which not only would have deprived me of the path I was supposed to walk, but it would have made me no longer part of the perfection of the universe. People a lot of times say, you're a devotee of the divine. You believe in divine will, divine perfection. Like, why do you work so hard? Why do you do so much? And the schools and the women's programs and the medical care and environment programs, like, why do it? If everything is perfect and everything is God. Well, because each of us, realizing, recognizing, waking up to the truth of who we are, and then embodying it, is a critical part of the perfection of the universe. It's not perfection minus you. And so living according to our dharma. It said, dharma protects those who protect dharma. As we live according to dharma, our own dharma, it may not be the make a whole bunch of money variety. It may not be live the standard American dream variety or wherever you're from, dream variety. It may not be what your parents did. It may not be what everybody else in your neighborhood is doing. It may not be what makes the neighbors jealous. So many people end up wasting their lives worried about what the neighbors are going to think. In Hindi, they say, "Samne wale kya sochenge?" Oh my God, what are we going to do? What's the guy across the street going to say? Under the shade of dharma reminds us, I am responsible not to what the neighbors are going to say, not to what someone else's agenda is for me, but for that which is going to get me the closest, the fastest, to the clearest experiential awareness of the truth of who I am, and give me the spaciousness to express that. And by the way, for those of you who are parents in here, or grandparents or spouses or best friends or mentors or teachers. The best gift you can give to someone is to hold and create the spaciousness in which they can blossom as the very truth of who they are. The agendas that we hold for those we love, even thinking it is for their best interest, so frequently are what cause harm to them. We mean well. But we don't know. We don't know what seed they come into this world with. And we may be a family of peach trees, and everybody may be a peach tree, and we've, given peaches and made peach jam and peach pie for generations. But that doesn't mean that the child I've just given birth to is also a peach seed. It's not actually genetic. Dharma is not genetic. And if all I do is shout peach, 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 peach over that orange seed or apple seed or sunflower seed, I'm never going to get peaches. No matter how much I shout, no matter how many peachy magic wands I wave over it, I will never get peaches from it. But I'm also going to make sure that I also don't get apples or oranges or sunflowers. Helping those we love recognize and step into their dharma and not projecting our agenda upon them is one of the greatest gifts that we can give them. And lastly, with the awareness, you can either do of Brahma or of Brahman, the divine creator or the supreme reality existence. It doesn't matter. Either way, with the awareness of the divine, however that feels to you, the divine creator or the divine that permeates all, doesn't matter. But that presence of the divine in everything, as everything. And again, we come back to Earth Day. We come back to acts of violence. That divine we worship is in all. The Upanishads remind us and teach us, Isha vasimidam sarvam, yat kancha jagatyam jagat. Everything in the universe is pervaded by that divine. There is nothing, no one, nowhere that is not pervaded by that divine. A drop of water, a blade of grass, a tree, a being of another race, another religion, another color, another sexual orientation, another nationality, whatever it may be. Another species. To see that divine in them and to see it in yourself. Because the awareness of the divine is, yes, in all, but again, not all minus you. A lot of us begin our spiritual practice by, let me work on seeing the divine in all, and we forget about the self. And so we move through that practice with, oh my God, you're useless. You got angry again today. You did this today. You had lust. You had greed. You objectified. You're worthless. You're useless. And we forget, to see the divine in the self as well. So with that awareness of the presence of the divine in every minute, in every moment, and that frees us from all of that which is untruth. It is untruth that keeps us stuck. It is truth that sets us free. We just were in the Mahakumbh Mela in Prayagraj, and people come for what's known as the Amrit Snan, the bath in the nectar. the nectar of immortality. But the real nectar is gyan, is wisdom. Because we're already immortal. As I was telling everyone when they came, this bath is not an anti-aging hack. It's not something that's going to, prevent your skin from wrinkling or prevent your hair from going gray or prevent the physical body from doing what physical bodies do, which is degenerate. It is a bath in the nectar of wisdom that reminds us, I am that which is immortal. I've always been immortal. But I forgot. So that awareness of the divine is a remembrance of who you are. And that remembrance is what sets us free. So whenever you find yourself feeling stuck again, and chances are you will, it's okay, we're still human. Acknowledge it. Have compassion, bow to the human journey you are on. And then just remember. Use any of the tools, any of the techniques, any of the remembrances to come back to that true self. I want to spend our last 9 minutes with any questions that we haven't yet had a chance to take and address. Yeah, I know you've been waiting through the sessions. Yes.
Thank you very much for that. I have 2 questions. One question, I'll start with the easier one, I think.
Okay. I appreciate it.
What, in your opinion, is the greatest duty for a parent to a child? What is the highest duty that a parent can have towards their child?
I'll give you the ideal, and then I'll give you the real for most of us who are not yet at that ideal state. Highest, best duty you have, get enlightened. Raise that child in an enlightened home so that that child does not grow being projected upon. So the child does not grow receiving the false beliefs, the neuroses, that as parents we cannot help but give to our children, no matter how hard we try, until and unless we are free of them. So get free fast. And until then, be very conscious of your actions and your communications. Refrain yourself from doing things that seem to come really naturally and easily, like the kid cleans up their room and you say, "Oh, you are such a good boy. Good girl, come here, let me give you a hug, let's have cookies." It seems really innocuous. Great, good boy, good girl. Or they come home with a great report card. We give them a hug. We take them out for pizza. Seems nice, certainly innocuous, harmless. The dilemma is you end up with people pleasers and workaholics. Because what we grow up believing is my worthiness of love is based on what I do. Room is clean, I'm worthy of love. Report card is good, I'm worthy of love. You can give rewards. We have to discipline, of course. Just don't use love. Give them a perk. They can go to the party or they can't go to the party. They can ride their bike, they can't ride their bike. They can watch the movie, they can't watch the movie. No problem. But do not use your facial expressions of joy, of love, or anger and frustration Do not express love. Do not withdraw love. In your expressions, in your actions, based on what they do. They come home with a failing grade, give them just as big a hug as they get for an A. Then ground them for a week. No problem. Discipline them, but not with love. Let them grow knowing that who they are, regardless of what they do, is worthy of love.
What's the real?
That is the real.
That is okay.
The ideal is get enlightened fast.
Gotcha.
I don't know exactly how many months till the due date, but it looks like it's pretty soon.
It's still far. I've got some time.
Okay. Okay. Good.
And then my second question is, if someone goes through a traumatic event or a significant trauma, and they feel like something has been taken away from them, or self has left the body, or a part of your essence or self has left the physical body, how do you get some of those parts back? How do you create a safe and inviting place for self to return?
Okay. I'm going to have to do this briefly. It deserves a lot longer, and I mention this in advance because I'm therefore going to have to be more abrupt about things than I ordinarily would be. First of all, as someone who personally has experienced trauma, I do not believe that we lose essence. I don't believe that we lose self. Here is what happens. Number one, we learn to dissociate. We learn to split off awareness, presence, consciousness from the present moment. There's a lot of work that can be done, psychological work, spiritual work, to break the habit of dissociation. It becomes a habit. We do it to protect ourselves as children, particularly. Works fantastically. It takes us away from the moment of terror and pain. It literally is a survival mechanism. And as we grow, we learn through a variety of methods, and I would use a variety. I would use spiritual methods. I would also use psychological work, depending on the severity of the trauma, to help us understand that our consciousness, our awareness, our presence is a safe place. We do not need to leave in our awareness. We can be here now. And even if in this now, there is anger, there is grief, there is longing, there is jealousy, there is resentment, there is any variety of suffering, I can handle it. Within me is a safe place. I no longer need to dissociate. So it's a change in habit. You could think of it as a bringing yourself back, but I don't think of it like that. I don't feel like I went somewhere on some kind of a permanent level or lost a core part of essence. What I did was develop a habit of not being here and of using, as I grew, a variety of substances, a variety of practices to supplement the dissociation so that I didn't have to feel what seemed to be an unbearable emotional state. But the work is to realize you can bear it. At that age, maybe you couldn't, but now you can. I think about the Wizard of Oz and the end of the Wizard of Oz when Toto pulls back the curtain on the wizard. And what do we see? That instead of this enormous, towering, omnipotent being, we've got this tiny little man with a projector. Scary only as long as he could hide behind the curtain with the projector. A lot of our internal resistance to present moment due to trauma is that Wizard of Ozness. It's that thing within us that says, don't look here because it's going to gobble you up. You will explode, you will implode, you will fall apart if you pull back this curtain. And what our spiritual practice does is it gives us the faith to pull it back and to look at it and to be able to say, here we are. And what you see is, it's a little man with a projector. It's not nothing. It's something. But it's much more manageable, much more bearable. And the moment you look at it, it disappears. That sting dissipates when you look at it. It's able to hold on to you. If you think about it as part of yourself that has gone, it is able to steal part of you only as long as you don't look at it. But you're all here, I promise you. There's no part of you that isn't here, except perhaps a bit of courage in awareness. And this is what meditation does. When we start to meditate, a lot of people have a lot of experiences where the ego comes in and it tries to get us to stop meditating. And first it may just begin by telling you that your house is going to burn down because the coffee pot is on. And when you get up for the 15th time to check the coffee pot and realize it's not on and now it's unplugged and in the backyard, you finally realize it's just a game of the ego. But then it gets a little bit deeper, and then it's going to tell you, if you go any further, you're actually going to stop breathing. You're going to stop breathing. Better come back, you're going to die. Nobody dies meditating. But you see how that conditioned self doesn't want to look at the truth. And so in meditation, we just stay present. We stay aware. And whatever you're meditating with, a mantra, on the breath, on an image of the divine, on a name of the divine, on awareness itself, whatever may be the practice of your meditation, you just stay with it. You're all here, I promise. Yeah, beautiful. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhaved. O divine, may all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings attain their highest state. May no being suffer. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace.
So I'd like to thank very much Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati for this beautiful teaching tonight. Let's give her a very big hand. As we are very grateful for Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati coming to the ashram for the first time and sharing these beautiful teachings, and beautifully connected with the International Earth Day. And also we'd like to take this opportunity to bid farewell to Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, who is leaving the ashram early tomorrow morning. So we'd like to wish you a very safe travels and great success in all of our work and teachings around the world. So we wish you a safe journey and great success. And by God's grace, we look forward to welcome her to the ashram very soon. So let's give her another very big hand. And we also bid farewell to Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati's students and assistants who are leaving tomorrow, Tiffany Isaacs and Mika Arroyo. They're both sitting here and they're both leaving tomorrow, and we wish them also a safe journey, and we also look forward to welcome them back at the ashram very soon. Let's give them also a very big hand. So now we'll go over the rest of the schedule for tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we'll be having the satsang on the beach. So we'll be meeting at 6 a.m. By the beach showers and going for a meditation walk, short chanting and teachings on the beach. Bhagavi Chaitanya will lead the satsang. Then at 8 o'clock we'll have the yoga classes, the intermediate on the beach platform, the beginners on the Bay West platform. 9:50 the brunch. 11 o'clock the ashram welcome and history tour, living from reception. At 12 o'clock tomorrow we'll be having a special workshop with our Wellbeing Center staff, Pierre, and this will be a workshop on reflexology. So learning about the art of reflexology and getting the practice, so learning different techniques that you will be able to practice with each other. Then at 4 o'clock, the yoga classes, 5:50 the dinner, 7 o'clock the chanting of the Bhagavad Gita, followed by a short study in the main temple. And tomorrow night, we begin the program with Acharya Shunya, a program that is titled The Path to Liberation, Discovering Vedantic Truth. And Acharya Shunya is a Vedic lineage holder from the holy city of Ayodhya in India, scriptural scholar, teacher of the Vedic, Yogic, and Ayurvedic wisdom, and author of several best-selling books. So this will be a program starting tomorrow night on teachings of Adi Shankaracharya from the important text of Bhaja Govindam. So that will be for the next several evenings. Also, tonight we take the opportunity to bid farewell to one of our staff and supporters of the ashram. This is Sandra Douglas. I don't see Sandra is here. but Sandra is one of our main staff who is organizing all the wonderful programs of the ashram. And tomorrow she's leaving the ashram, so we like really to thank Sandra and to wish her safe travels, and we look forward to welcome her also back at the ashram very soon. Also, we wish safe travels to Swamini Atma Prakashananda Ji, who is traveling tomorrow for several days. Swamini Ji is here teaching us the Mandukya Upanishad, and she's going for short travels and will be back in a few days, but we wish her very safe travels tomorrow. And tomorrow is also the TTC and ATTC day off, so we give them a very big hand, as they just completed their third week, which is the most difficult week, and we only say that in the end of the week. But they've done a very good job, and we wish them a nice rest tomorrow, and study and rest, and a very wonderful day off. So now we conclude with the final prayers. And one of the ATTC students, Amy, it is her birthday today. Amy is sitting in the back, so we wish Amy a very happy birthday. Let's give her a very big hand. It's very auspicious to celebrate the birthday during the ATTC. And we dedicate the final prayers for her long life, good health, peace, prosperity, and spiritual liberation in this very birth. So this is on page 97.
Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivadanam Murvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivadanam Murvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivadanam Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mokshiyamamritat. Om sarvesham swastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kashyed dukapag bhavet. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityur Maamritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. O adorable Lord, the mercy and love, let us abide in thee forever and ever. Molo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ji ki jai. Molo Shri Guru Vishnavananda Maharaj Ji ki jai. Please stand up for the arati and follow along on page 118. Jai Jarati Vinna Vinayaka Mina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha. Jai Jarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya. Jai Jarati Venugopala Venugopala Venulola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora. Jai Jarati Venkataramana Venkataramana Sanyadaharana Sitarama Radhe Shyama. Jai Jarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Shankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara. Jai Jarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jai Jarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jai Jarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara Jai Jarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shanishwaraya Shanishwaraya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shankaracharya Shankaracharya Advaita Gurave Jai Jarati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jai Jarati Vishnudevananda 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 Jai Jarati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shirama Priyaye Jai Jarati Ayyappa Swamye Ayyappa Swamye Dharma Shastave Jai Jarati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jarati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nana Gurave Samastarbhyo Namaha Jai Jarati Venugopala Om Natatra Surya Bhati Nachanda Tarakam Nema Vidyo Tabanti Kato Yamagni Tam Eva Bantamanabhati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvidam Vibhati Om Gange Chayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namastyabhyam Namo Namaha Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Tasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinan Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kaye Navacha Manasendriyarava Buddhiyat Manava Prakritye Swabhavat Karomi Adiyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayiti Samarpayami Sarvadharmam Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Ishami Masucha. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you very much, everybody at home, for joining us for this beautiful evening satsang. Have a good night and a beautiful Earth Day. And everybody here, make sure to take prasad before you leave. Please help us in clearing up the satsang hall. You can just leave there.